birthday?
November 30th.
At the end of the month.
So I'm like the finale.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
This is all the more reason you need to get the book. Okay. For our newcomers to the show, welcome. We're so happy to have you. Every Friday, we have a certain topic, and it's business related.
Yes.
And this month's Friday, is talking about selling the family business. The family business. What is the family business?
Kaop. So this is the business, the company that was started by your father or your grandfather or your grandmother or mother. It's a business that has been inside of the family for a long time.
That's right. That is a family business. But unfortunately, we can't stay competitive. 우리는 경쟁력이 역을 유지할 수 없어요.
Yeah.
Right? We can't be competitive. Meaning, which is very true, all the big companies are taking over.
Yeah.
It's hard to compete, right?
It is hard for smaller businesses sometimes because you have to make a profit, but often big businesses can sell things for lower
prices, yeah.
Right? Yeah, sell things for less.
Okay, so let's see what expressions we're going to cover today. Take the reins. R-E-I-N-S.
Yes. So the reins, they are the straps, like the leather strings that a horse has, right, on their mouth. And so if you take the reins, it means you're taking control.
Okay. Hand something or hand down something.
This means to give to someone else. When we're talking about inheritance, like a mother or father giving to their child,
right.
You could say hand down.
Okay. And how about pleading one's case? P-L-E-A-D. Plead your case.
So this is when you're giving an explanation or you're defending something to another person.
Okay, very good. So these are the three expressions that we're going to focus on. Let's go ahead and listen to the dialogue.
I've been talking to my father about selling the family business.
Wait a second. Didn't you just take the reins of the company last year?
That's true, but we know we can't stay competitive without investing in a lot of new equipment.
I'm surprised you could convince your father to sell. He always seemed determined to hand down the company to the next generation.
I haven't convinced him yet. He's insisting on a family meeting to discuss it.
That sounds fair. You can plead your case in front of everyone.
Please join us on page 8 of our PE textbook. That's where you can find the power dialogue. Selling the family business, we can't stay competitive. Grady begins by saying, I've been talking to my father about selling the family business. So if you've been talking to someone about that, it means that it is on your mind.
Yes. There's been an ongoing discussion.
Yes. And they're going to sell the family business. And Sarah says, wait a second. Didn't you just take the reins of the company last year? Okay, when she says, wait a second, here, of course, we say, 잠깐만, right? Wait a second. But in this context, it's like, 잠깐. As in, like, you said something before.
Right.
And you changed it? You changed your mind?
Right, so this is not about actual waiting, right?
That's it.
But just like in Korean as well, sometimes it's when you hear something that's a little shocking.
Right.
Or unexpected. You're like, wait a second.
Oh, 잠깐. Huh? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So if you take the reins of the company, you mentioned earlier to take control of the company.
Yes.
So what is this R-E-I-N-S in Korean?
Reins is your kupbi, right? The things that you control a horse with. You know, you pull back and the horse stops. Whoa.
Yeah.
Right? So when you take the reins, you are taking control and are now driving. You are now choosing the direction. So it can be a horse or it could be a company.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, take the reins. I mean, At one time, I took the reins of Power English.
Right. Who was the person before you?
The person before me was a teacher named Joyce Peck.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. She got pregnant, and so she kind of took leave.
Yeah, so you took the reins from Joyce Peck, yes.
All right, what does Grady say?
That's true, but we know we can't stay competitive without investing in a lot of new equipment.
Okay, so what Grady is saying is that if we want to be competitive, we must invest, buy a lot of new equipment.
Yes.
Yeah, because they have to continue developing.
Right.
Yeah, okay. And so what does Sarah say?
I'm surprised you could convince your father to sell. He always seemed determined to hand down the company to the next generation.
Okay, so Sarah is surprised. Why? That he could convince his father to sell. Now, if you convince someone, convince, 설득을 하다, persuade?
Yes, that's right. So it's to persuade, it's to make someone understand your opinion or make them do something
Right.
by explaining it to them.
Right. So maybe the father said, no, I'm not selling this family business. It's like 4 generations. But if you convince your father to sell, he's like, well, I think you're right, son.
Yeah, and it's usually involving giving lots of explanations or reasons for doing it.
Okay. Well, Sarah says he seemed determined to hand down the company to the next generation. So it seemed like he wasn't interested in selling the company.
Yes.
He wanted to hand down the company. Okay, so hand down.
물려주다. So
Yes.
this is when you were taking something that one generation owns, holds, has, and you're giving it to the younger generation.
Right.
And we often use this with families, right? So my grandfather handed down his antique watch collection.
Yeah.
Right.
Or a mother and her jewelry.
Yes. You can even hand down something like a recipe.
Sure.
So it's just a family recipe that your grandmother or your mother or, your father gives to you, tells you about.
Well, it's interesting because in the book, in my letter to the listeners, the preface, I talk about making my kimchi, my kimjang, and that was handed down to me, the recipe, from my mother.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's a great example.
Okay. All right. So Grady says, I haven't convinced him yet. He's insisting on a family meeting to discuss it. Oh, so Grady's saying, well, not yet. Okay. I haven't convinced him. So the dad wants to have a meeting.
Yes.
Family meeting. And what does Sarah say?
That sounds fair. You can plead your case in front of everyone.
Okay. That sounds fair is our power pattern.
Yeah, so this fair here is about justice, right? So fairness in the sense of everyone, everything gets treated the same way. So here when Sarah says, that sounds fair, she's kind of saying, yeah, I can understand your grandfather.
Yeah.
So even if she agrees with Grady, she's kind of saying, yeah, that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Because we can't just be thinking about you.
Yeah.
We also need to be thinking about the rest of your family.
Right.
So that is the fair way to do it.
That's right. So it's not so subjective, it is a bit objective.
Yeah.
You're seeing it like the good and the bad. So it seems fair.
Yeah, letting all sides have equal opportunity or
Yeah.
equal say.
Okay. Then Sarah says you can plead your case in front of everyone. This sounds like courtroom drama, to plead one's case.
Yes, so that is good imagery for this phrase. To plead your case is whenever you are explaining your ideas, your opinion, when you're trying to get people to agree with you
Yeah.
or understand you. So in this meeting, Grady might stand up and explain all of the reasons why he wants to sell the company.
Yeah.
And he's trying to convince the rest of his family members that what he is saying is correct.
Okay. Just like kind of what a lawyer does in the courthouse.
Yeah, a lawyer or a criminal even.
Or a criminal,
Or
yeah.
a suspect.
A
I
suspect?
guess, yeah.
Okay. All right, let's go ahead and listen to that one more time.
I've been talking to my father about selling the family business.
Wait a second. Didn't you just take the reins of the company last year?
That's true, but we know we can't stay competitive without investing in a lot of new equipment.
I'm surprised you could convince your father to sell. He always seemed determined to hand down the company to the next generation.
I haven't convinced him yet. He's insisting on a family meeting to discuss it.
That sounds fair. You can plead your case in front of everyone.
It's time for Power Note. We're on pages 10 and 11. We're going to give you more examples of the expressions that we just talked about. Okay, take the reins, to assume control. So to take control of something. The government is taking the reins of the mining company.
Yeah, but it's only while they investigate possible environmental crimes.
Okay, so they're taking control of the company.
I am the captain now.
Yes,
I will
right.
control the company.
Okay. Before Sally took the reins, this business was failing badly. So often you hear in like economic news about a certain CEO taking reins of the company that is like almost close to bankruptcy, and then, you know, he's the hero and he saves the company.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is right. That's often, I think that's probably the most common way when you're controlling business.
Right.
Of course, there is the literal usage. If you are on a buggy or a cart, you know, like an old style wagon, and there are horses in front of you, someone might say, here, take the reins.
Literally.
Where they're telling you to control the horses now.
Right.
But most often it is about controlling a business at this point.
I would say that it's often mostly used in business.
Yeah, the only other places I could see this used is like maybe a sports team, like a new coach, or a new director comes in to take the reins.
Sure.
You might be able to use this in like large organizations like churches or charities or things like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I don't know if you can like take the reins of your family, for example.
I don't think so.
Right?
Yeah, that just
it's not
doesn't
so much one person, even if they are like the oldest person in the family.
Right.
It's not like they're directing the family necessarily.
Right. I feel like it's a big organization.
Yeah.
You know, whatever, whether it be a religion or whether it be like a business, a company, to take the reins. Okay. Hand down something means to give something to a younger person, usually like within the family.
Yes.
Okay. Your grandmother is such an amazing cook.
Well, she plans to hand down her recipes to me soon.
Grandma's recipes. Okay. My father handed down to me the house his parents gave to him. Yeah. That's nice to be handed down a house.
Oh, I would love that.
Me too.
Yes. So this handed down, it can be physical things, it can be ideas, and it's usually good things, but I have heard this used playfully about bad things.
Oh, like what?
So, for example, my mother handed down to me an addiction to potato chips.
Oh,
in the sense of like, my mom loves potato chips.
Right.
Like, instead of eating a meal, she would just rather snack on potato chips and Diet Cola.
What?
She just loves it. And like, I'm not big on cola.
Yeah.
But potato chips, I have to be very careful.
Oh, really?
She handed that down to me, just like, here, try these.
She gave you the genes.
Yeah. Just like the salty, crispy, lovely potato chips.
So in that sense, it's kind of like handing down the DNA.
Yeah, it's like handing down the DNA. And also the sense of, you know, whenever you're a parent or a grandparent, like giving your kids little treats or whatever.
Right.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Just handing down those types of things.
So watch out for those potato chips, Cameron.
No potato chips in my house. I can't have it.
Because once you do, you can't stop.
Well, they don't stay in my house. If I buy a bag of chips, they're gone by the night.
Wow.
Like they just... It's so true. It's so true.
It's your kryptonite. Okay. All right. To plead your case means to give your defense or explanation about something.
Yes.
And this is to try to convince the other person or whoever This is so. Okay. Did your parents agree to let you go to New York for the summer?
Mom and Dad gave me a chance to plead my case. I think they'll say yes.
Yeah. So, right. So a son or a child pleading their case to their parents, trying to convince them this is a good idea.
Yes. And it could be, there are two ways this can be used. Either A, someone thinks you did something bad.
Okay.
So you're trying to say, no, I wasn't bad. These are the reasons why I did it.
Uh-huh.
Or, Mom, Dad, I want to do this.
Uh-huh.
These are the reasons I should be allowed to do this.
I see. You may think it's not the right choice, but it is.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. My boss let me plead my case as for why he should promote me to manager.
So I listened to my reasons
Yeah.
why I should get that promotion.
Right. It's like, I would be an amazing manager, and here are my reasons.
I'm already the manager, you just don't pay me manager salary.
That's right. I'm already doing manager duties.
I'm already doing all the work.
Okay. That sounds fair. 그거 공정하네.
Yeah.
It's like, sounds reasonable. That sounds fair. Everyone will feel included.
That sounds fair. Both teams get an equal chance.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good. That's reasonable. All right. Our power vocab today is the word convince. So when you convince someone, you cause them to do or believe something.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a bit of persuasion in there.
Yeah, persuasion is great. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're trying to make them think the same way that you are.
That's right. And what else should we do?
Two things.
Yeah.
First, go to Audio Hakdang, and for a small monthly fee,
Yes.
you can listen to this show, you can listen to other shows by EBS.
Yeah. And what is the second thing?
Thing number two, if you haven't gotten the book yet,
Oh, yeah.
please go to your local bookstore.
Yes.
Or online, where you can sign up for a 12-month subscription, get a discount,
Yes.
and
Absolutely.
get the books. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So hopefully we can convince our listeners to buy the book.
Please buy the book.
Yes. All right. Thank you so